Hello everybody, how you doing? As promised, this is the breakdown video for the Conveyex. I have to go do the instructions now, so I figured this is a perfect time to break it down and show you quickly how I designed it. But I think before we do that, we're gonna have to give this thing a little crash test and see just how robust it is. It didn't work. Well, that was very lackluster. We ran out of track. It couldn't go fast enough. Yep. All right, so we couldn't make any eggs that way. I think we need to do this again. There we go. That was what was supposed to happen. All right, so we got a nice little bit of carnage here to start with. So let's get to seeing how this thing was built. The back ends are simple enough. They are just a Technic frame with a plate shell built around it, and it's all hooked together with hinges. And the top is the same idea, except it houses the battery pack and the sensor. And this just clips into the top engine here with 2 pins and then a couple of quickly removable pins with the stoppers on the end. And here is the actual heart of the beast. We have our gears on the top and the bottom. These are identical gear trains. I'll dissect that a bit more for you later. And the fronts, they actually just slide in on a couple of axles. So here is the inside. You can see the top panel here. It was clipped in place. This is the front section. We just have a couple of stud on the side bricks holding that in place. And this was one big heavy section to put on the front of the train, but I think the shaping was really nice for that. And on the top, we have pretty much the same construction. If we pull this off, we get a better look of that clip that's held there, and that's holding our top in, and we just have an elastic to keep some tension on that so it doesn't go bouncing up and down. Because if you had watched that video, you know that the train is rather bumpy, and I mean, that's just necessary due to the fact that it was on linked tracks, and they're not exactly smooth. So let's pop that off. And there we go. And then again, the front construction is the same. This is just a decorative part for the shaping. The top rested on this, which gave it a little stability. And then we have our back door, which we don't need anymore. Another side panel. And this is the whole working part of the Conveyex. So you probably noticed in the videos that these turned. They're not powered at all. They were turned simply by the movement of the train along that linked track, and the linked track provided enough friction. There's some teeth on there that they would grab in between these links and move the track freely. So I had to make sure that when I did put this track on that it was a little bit loose, but the effect worked much better than I expected, to be honest. So going back to this part where I've linked the top and bottom together, because the bottom was so heavy, it just wanted to drag down the entire train. It would actually lift the back gear out so that it wouldn't get any traction at all. Plus, I needed to have enough tension to hold these two tracks together so that they would both ride along the link track and make them move. So this was a bit of a finesse job where I kind of had to keep tweaking it up and down a bit just to get the perfect tension on that. Too much tension, the train wouldn't move at all. If it was too little tension, then we wouldn't have our bottom track move and everything would be even more floppy than it is. So we'll pull the two fronts off They're held in with a couple of bushings here and a couple of axles, and I have a rubber stop in there to give it some leeway because it needed a lot of spring in there. If this thing was rigid, it would never ever have moved along that track. And here we are with the gear mechanism. So I'll get the bottom parts off so you can see exactly how it worked, and I will hook it up to a battery pack for you. So you can see the two gears in there. They are connected by a double drive all the way down. If you had followed on Flickr and Facebook, you know that I originally had a small bevel gear as the drive gear, and there was so much torque being created by these two motors that it just snapped one entirely. So I had to redesign the entire drive, and the solution was to come up with a double drive all the way through so that both sides of the gears down here would be powered. So I'll turn it on slowly now so you can see how they work. So these both turn in unison, and you'll probably notice that they are not perfectly lined up. In fact, they're 1/2 stud out from each other. The reason I had to do that is because if I had lined them up perfectly, the forces of them trying to push off of the links in between all the linked track would actually pretty much snap a whole bunch of Lego pieces in the process. So they had to be 1/2 stud off, and that gave them enough play to be able to get over those rods no problem. And due to that, that created a real issue when I was trying to link the two trains together. Unfortunately, we don't have grav technology, so I had to come up with a, you can see, a little bit complicated of a way to link everything together and make sure it was strong enough. This took probably 3 or 4 redesigns to get something that was really, really sturdy. So you can see that there's a little bit of give when I flex these, because again, I had to have enough flexibility that they could both go over those humps in the linked track, but it couldn't be so much and so sturdy that there was no play at all, because the train wouldn't have moved at all. So if you notice when it's driving along, it's really bumpy. It's due to this flex, that it had to be there. The other thing I had to deal with was the serious amount of torque that these engines were putting out. To get that train to move along those tracks was a serious challenge to both of these engines. If I mentioned the lining that up, that was the first part. The second part was when they were pushing so hard, they would literally lift the motor out of their mounts and cause the gears to unbind. So I had to lock them in nice and tight, and you can see here that this motor will not move now. Same on the bottom, it's the same construction, so there's absolutely no give to that motor, and there's no give to this cage at all. This motor system by itself probably took as much time to build as the entire rest of the train. And it went through about 4 different redesigns just to get it to be strong enough. So that is the overall look at how I constructed the Conveyex. I will be making the instructions available, as I mentioned, so I'm going to start working on that now. If you want to be apprised of when they are available, you can go to my Rebrickable account and follow me there. It might take me 3 or 4 days to get them up, depending on how busy I am. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned a bit about the challenges involved in trying to get this Conveyex to move. It was a very fulfilling project, but it definitely gave my mind a bit of a puzzler. So I hope you can use this information in your own builds. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic day. Keep dreaming in bricks. Bye-bye.